And I'll say, while I'm talking, I'm hoping that any questions that you've got, I hope you start to gather them. And I'll try to move around a lot because I understand that I'm short. So like, I can't make eye contact with everybody. So every once in a while, I'll hi. So you think about questions that you've got and concerns that you've got, or anybody in here who's like, I'd love to know why wouldn't. Anybody who hasn't purchased yet, I'd love to know why you wouldn't want to drink something called Shakeology. Why you wouldn't want to do a workout in your home on Beachbody On Demand, or whatever the thing might be. So just think questions and gather them, and we'll open it up, and that's really going to be the crux of this. But let me tell you the purpose of what this whole thing is. 2016 was a tough year for the business, and it was a tough year for the business. It wasn't like tough year for the business. It was just like tough year for the business. And when you're in a company that was growing at the rate that it was, and you've got coaches all of a sudden, and executives and shareholders going, "What's the deal? Is there still a there?" And so the network is exceptionally important to us, but in particular, the network and what the coaches do is fundamental to what Beachbody On Demand is about. So as we started to see an odd turnover, turnover meaning somebody would come in to be a coach, you'd see somebody get to Diamond, and then all of a sudden they drop back down to Emerald, because those people be in and out, and in and out. And we started to realize that a dynamic that only happens once you're successful was finding its way as we were maturing. It was finding its way into our ranks. And that is, regardless of what I say, and we have our mission statement, help people achieve their goals to lead healthy, fulfilling lives. That mission statement is all over the office. It's on my front door. It's in this hallway that I walk through, that I write on. I scribble little sayings to pump myself up in the hallway. That's funny. The first time I did that, it was like this. It was like this, access just for the worker guys and stuff. And I'm like, there was no paint on the walls, and I park right there, and I'd like to take the steps instead of the elevator. So one day I had this big, thick Sharpie, and I had a thought, and the thought was, I've never heard a success story where the champion said, "That was easy." And so I put that, and I put like a square around it, and then I got a call from HR. On my way home, and her name's Aline. She goes, "Carl," I'm like, "Yeah, is it possible that there's some writing on one of the walls? Is that your handiwork?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was a thing that I wanted to walk in and sort of be inspired by that, and remember that it's going to be hard. What I'm walking into is going to be hard because we're trying to change something." And she's like, okay, no problem. So anyway, now I've got that hallway, and one of the things, we've got the mission statement there, help people achieve their goals to lead healthy, fulfilling lives. And regardless of how often I say that and repeat it, and we show Beachbody Challenge winners and applaud people for their success, and we tell people that Beachbody is this mashup of words that doesn't mean six-packs and tight buns and gun shows. It means having the freedom and comfort to be where you are in your own skin, to be able to go to the beach without shame, to be able to, if you've got a six-pack, to be able to have that six-pack without people body shaming you, and to be able to be at the pool and be in family photos without being embarrassed about yourself, because you feel like you're doing something alive and you're vital. That's what Beachbody means, and we knew we were doing something different. But regardless of how much I would say that, and the company would say that, and we'd make our theme at some of that, something else was happening. And that is, instead of the first, let's say, a couple thousand coaches who were, nobody was making money, so they would come in, those new coaches would come in, and they'd be like, "Hey, I like that, I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to lose this weight, and then when I walk into a room, people will see, hey, how'd you lose the weight? Well, this P90X thing, and this insanity thing, and then, well, I'd like to do that," and it creates demand, right? So that person deserves a commission on that demand that they helped create. So the people at the very beginning, They weren't seeing grandeur. There was nothing called a millionaire club, and people weren't paying off cars and houses and things. But then, after, here we are 10 years old, the last 3 or 4 years, you've got people buying second houses and things are happening. And, these are the top 0.1% of the business, but you've got people around them going, hey, how did you buy that? How did you pay off your student loan so fast? How did you buy that new car? And the person's like, well, I'm doing this thing, Beachbody. We help people get cheap. I don't care what you do. I want to do that. And, well, but it takes real hard work, and we help people get results. That's what, blah, 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 whatever. I'm just going to do it. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to get my Aunt Mary and my Uncle Bob, and I'm going to be Emerald by the weekend. It's going to be awesome. They don't know what it is. They're going to be there. And then I've got these 3 friends from school. I loan the guy money, so he'll get me there. So I'm going to get 8 people. I'm going to be Diamond by the weekend after that, and it's going to be awesome. And that's what started to happen. And people are like, I'm Diamond now. Where's my money? Where's my car? What's it? It's Diamond. Like, I should be making some serious coin right now. And so what happened is, those people would get to 30 days, or 60 days, or 90 days, and they would cycle right out. And by the way, that is MLM. Just about every MLM we've researched they have an attrition business where they have to replace almost 100% of the distributors every year. And we started to get in that trap because people were coming in with an expectation of financial upside that was unrealistic and not rooted in what we call the vital process. The vital process being that we are providing people a comprehensive solution that is not easy, and a shake that is not cheap, but it is potent, and fitness programming that is not easy, it's no cakewalk, but it works. And the pièce de résistance, I'm in Canada, I get it. Thank you. Did I say it right?
We have no idea.
Let me text my French-Canadian wife for a second.
Oh.
I did it.
Credit card. You might want that.
So I went to, so what was I? What was that? Pièce, oh, and so the thing is, the shake and the fitness, and then there's this other element of a coach. And what's a coach do? And a coach is the big differentiator from the whole other thing. There's a reason that we don't call you guys distributors. Other MLMs, nothing wrong with multi-level marketing, because this person brings in this person, so you get a little bit of what they brought, and then that person brings in this person, and everybody up here gets a little bit, because if not for them, then they wouldn't have gotten you, so everybody up, and the next one, and the next one. But, if you're talking about candles, or beauty product, or whatever, that's really, I'm endorsing this candle, smells like lavender, and I think you should buy it, which is totally okay. That's a distribution system. But when I get that candle at home, I can light it all by myself. But the problem that affects 266 million people in North America, that 1 in 3 kids is obese, that 1 in 3 adults is pre-diabetic over the age of 40. When they go, if they click over into type 2 diabetes, that's $10,000 in expense that gets sucked out of the healthcare system. Certainly in Canada, you feel that hard up here. The healthcare system is tough up here, and but everywhere. And it's just not. It's not going to get solved with. It's not going to get solved by the system getting improved. It's going to get solved by people getting healthier. And here's the prospect of, for no additional cost, shake and fitness. But there's this coach who holds you accountable with this crazy little thing. I'll have more credit cards fly out. This little challenge tracker app that just, I did drink my shake, has adaptogens and phytonutrients and all this stuff in it, and I did do my workout, and now my coach knows that I did it, and they don't have to follow up. They don't have to be a fitness expert, nutrition expert. They just need to know that I'm on track. And every once in a while we touch base. So that's like this ecosystem that was being created. But if people were just coming in because they saw the new car or they saw the house and they're like, I'll figure it out, I'll make some money, but they're not steeped in the belief of what this is, of course, in 2015 and 2016, we started to see the shakeout. And people were like, my business is like a house of cards. Nobody's staying. And that's because they were coming in with the wrong expectation. And now we're starting to see that turn around as those people get attracted to other things that are easier to sell. I don't know how long-term they'll be, but we're starting to see that happen. But the background of all this, and why I think it's important for you, and what I'm trying to do is, I saw the problem happening. We all did. And I didn't know how to fix it. We could have a message that we're pushing forth as the company, as the corporate, but it wasn't, nothing's changing. So I put this group of people together. We call sort of a test group of coaches. It's called I'm Here to Help. We've got about 1,018, give or take one. We've got 1,000 coaches in there, and every day I'm working with those coaches, have been for the last 25 days or so, and we're going to go right until July 13th. And I'm going to understand what's happening in those coach ranks. What are the dynamics? What are the things that do work, that don't work? What limiting beliefs do those coaches have? And I'm learning volumes. And this is sort of a field trip for me. And we did it in Utah, and I did it yesterday in South Carolina, where I get a chance to tell you a little bit about us, and then you ask me questions, and I understand what your questions are, like what's not working for you, or if you're a prospective customer or a prospective coach, why wouldn't you do this? And if I hear that, I can answer that, and I can understand, oh, this is what they're not getting. So it helps me a lot to be able to just be in here. I'm not here to put on a show, even though I look good. So, did you say, see your abs? Okay. Okay, so we got the short joke out of the way. And, invariably somebody would be like, again, do the photos, right? People would be like, as good as I would have thought. That's the point of this whole thing. I'm not a fitness person. I'm not a nutrition person. You know the story. I eat like a toddler. And getting a little better. Actually, Fixate on Beachbody On Demand has taught me some things. I'm experimenting with these things called vegetables. Sure. They come in like their own skin. But when we started the company in 1998, we didn't set out to be a fitness company. But I had experience creating this product called 8-Minute Abs. I ran a small company outside of Philadelphia, and we needed a fitness product to sell. I was an infomercial guy. And so I had this idea, I'm like, I think, wouldn't you do, like, if you knew that it was just going to be 8 minutes, wouldn't you do your ab workout every day? And the partner was like, yeah, probably. I'm like, we could shoot that for like 25 grand and put it on TV. We sold 2 million of them for 20 bucks. Like, it was just 5 of us in a room. I'm like, wow, that was a nice little business. I said, wait, there's something to this. There's something to making the home as gratifying and interesting and effective as the gym, because I don't want to have to go to the gym. That's such pain. I have to do all the logistics, and I'm a functional person, so let me do it at home. So I said to my partner in that company, I've got some other ideas. I think we could really expand on this. He's like, he's this Texas guy. Now, that dog can't hunt. People don't want to work out, so we're going to try other things. I got this idea: roll of hay, impregnated with seeds, and you roll it out and water it, and flowers come up. It's called the Instant Flower Garden, and we sold a ton of those too. My dad was sort of into gardening and stuff, so he would roll it out. He did it in his backyard. He sent me this picture, and he's like, "This is my instant weeds." Thank you, son. But we did a bunch of product, and it just wasn't interesting. We were like product to product to product, and nothing really made sense. Like, we sold these mini encyclopedias. It was just terrible. And so I left that company, sold my interest in it, and that is what helped me fund the starting of Beachbody, plus some angel investors. And we weren't sure we were going to be a fitness business, but that was the predominant ideas I had. I had met John Congdon at another company that I was working for in the middle there. And so we just started it. And the first thing that we did was kind of similar to 8-Minute Abs. It was great abs guaranteed. That was just 7 minutes, though. And we had thin thighs guaranteed, and then we had the idea for Power 90, which is the first thing we did with Tony Horton, where John and I got our results, and we used those in the infomercial to help sell the product in Slim and Six and Turbo Jam, and the business model started to build. And then we went online with Beachbody.com. That's when we had to name it, because we knew we needed some sort of umbrella name, and GreatBody.com was not available, so we came up with Beachbody.com. It's an interesting little fun fact. So that was sort of the business. And in 2005, as we started to create P90X, that was toward the end, when we just started to test P90X. John and I were at lunch one day, and we were like, we were just reflecting on the business. We've been in business then for 6 years. And we looked at the state of things and the mission statement, help people achieve their goals, lead healthy, fulfilling lives. And we realized we didn't know, except for the message boards. Like, we knew we were getting some really good success stories, but we didn't know, is that 1 in 100? Is that 1 in 10 and 1 in 5? How do you know? And so, we started to think, well, we do know, we hear a lot. Very often you'll meet people and they'll be like, oh, you're the P90X guys? You're the Power 90 guys? I got that. Oh, how'd it go? Well, I haven't started it yet. 3 years ago. Slid conveniently under my bed. Fits perfectly. So that was a real thing. So we started to talk. How do we get people from buying it with a great story to doing it? And how do we get them to starting it? And how do we go from starting it to going through those first 2 weeks when they can barely sit and walk? And then how do we go from those first 2 weeks to the full 90 days? And then how, after 90 days, do we get them to make it a lifestyle? Because we're selling this initial 90-day horizon. So, just exchanging ideas, and we realized, so I said, look, I can't stand working out. Like, no problem. I'm a businessman or with the family. I have no problem blowing off the workout. First thing to go when I'm busy. So how was it that I was able to lose like 25 pounds and get ripped abs from Power 90, and then again with P90X? And it was because I had John and Tony as basically my challenge group. So when I was at the desk, I'm working, and John's like, come on. We said we were going to Tony's apartment. We're going to do Power 90. It's like, come on, man. You just do it, and I'll do it at home. Like, no, we said we're going to do it. So we go do it. And we'd look at what we were having for lunch. That's an awful lot of bread, dude. That's not going to help the pictures. So that was one dynamic, this challenge group dynamic. But the other dynamic was, we knew that if we got really good results, we were going to be walking billboards. We were going to be able to use our photos in the infomercials, in the advertising, to get rich. That was really attractive. So we thought, how could we scale that business? How could we make that? Because, has anybody in here lost maybe over 40 pounds with our stuff? Okay, over 40 pounds. Like, over 40 pounds. Wow, okay. Over 50? Over 60? Okay, let's just stop it. That's just outrageous. To lose over 60 pounds is such a monumental act of discipline and consistency that what's your name? Adriana. When Adriana got there, and she walks into a room, and all the heads who knew her 60 pounds ago say, what did you do, Adriana? And she goes, was there a specific program that helped you?
I started with 21 Day Fix.
Okay, let's say 21 Day Fix. And what? And she goes, I started with 21 Day Fix. And they go, well, I'm going to do that. That sounds awesome. But Beachbody doesn't deserve all that money. She did the work. She did this unbelievable, monumental thing that is creating demand everywhere she goes now. Anybody who knows Adriana, and friends are going, did you know she lost 60 pounds with that thing from the girl? And it's on TV. But she did it, and people come up to me and they're like, oh, thank you so much, you changed my life. And I reject it because we created the hammer, but you built this house. Like, you designed it. You stayed with it. That's such an amazing thing. So, if we're going to scale this business and try to deal with a problem that is affecting people and growing, obesity, lifestyle disease, this thing undermining the quality of life for people, where we are being examples for our kids that it's okay to blow it off, it's okay to eat like a toddler, and that their life expectancy, literally now, is shorter than ours. Can you imagine, as a species, we are accepting that our children have a shorter life expectancy than us because of our behavior? How is this? Like, this is so unnatural. So here we are. Here's Beachbody, and John and I having lunch, and we thought we should be in the network marketing business because she deserves a piece of it. And if she inspires somebody to lose 40 pounds or 50 pounds or 10 pounds, and they inspire somebody, she deserves a piece of that. And our form of multi-level marketing happened. But we decided not to call the Adrianas or our distributors, we decided not to call them reps or distributors because we needed to have influence in the process. Because we wanted there to be some accountability so that it wasn't just, let me sell this miracle pill to as many people as I can, and then they're on their own, because that's not working either. You can go to a gym, you can put your own thing together on YouTube, you could go buy meal replacement shakes from any other network marketing company, or at Whole Foods or whatever, or you can buy Whole 30, it's called, I think, and you can try to figure it out, but you're still missing the critical thing, and that's this human being that's going to check you on their phone and hold you accountable to whatever goal you set. Do you understand how disruptive and innovative and genius? No, it's scary, disruptive, and should completely work because it's the only way that, let's say, that the financial upside benefits the afflicted. And I don't mean afflicted like a disease, but the afflicted in behavior. How do you change behavior? You could use alcoholism or workaholism or whatever behavior or habit a person is just in this routine. They need some sort of disruption, some sort of compelling influence that will override that current influence. And here we have this potential of financial impact and a human being having influence. That sounds really powerful to me. And of all the things that could possibly, if you think about obesity and changing behavior so that they don't have to expand airline seats, so that they don't have to redig the rides at Disneyland because the boats bottom out now because people are, literally, this is the thing. Instead of accepting that and accepting that the healthcare system has to just keep up with our desire to eat everything and not be active, instead we can decide as a community, as a society, to get results. So it's my job to see what's happening with that ecosystem, what's happening with that machine, because it is a stunning solution that I don't think can be replicated. Amazon or Netflix or Herbalife or anybody could come up with something similar, but they're not going to have the whole picture. And part of that whole picture is this thing called Shakeology, which is literally a miracle powder in a bag. And here's why. As I told you, my wife is a French Canadian, and she's like a genius. She has worked, she's gotten all these, she was an actress at first, actually, which is interesting. She hated it. She was sort of pushed into it by her family, hated it, did a couple movies. You ever see, She's Having a Baby?
Yeah.
She's the girl in that Kevin Bacon. Anyway, there's a little backstory there. So when she didn't like acting, and she had a car accident, she had some bad things happen to her, so she just healed herself, and then she was so good at it that Hollywood elite and corporate elite and rock and roll elite were seeking her out to help solve the problem. She started to formulate shakes for some of the biggest health food companies in the world. And she would do it. She was not savvy at business. She would just help them out. She wouldn't put good deals together. But she would always find herself extremely disappointed because they would then, the financial guys would get involved and be like, well, we can't sell this. This will cost $100 or $200, this shake. And so let's trim this and let's isolate that so we can say it on the bag. Dr. Oz talked about it, so that'll be good. We'll put it on the bag, but it's isolated, doesn't have all the catalyst and enzymatic stuff. And so when I asked her, and I would watch her, like our house is like a drugstore, not a drugstore, a health food store, right? Like little tiny bottles everywhere. And I watch her, she gets up in the morning, and it's like watching a little chemistry thing happen. She's got her goggles on, she's little stuff, and she'll look at me, little stuff, okay? And she's like a thoroughbred. She's got this incredible intuition and sense of the potency of things. And I noticed one time that there was this powder, a protein powder that she would add to her shake in the morning that she wasn't using anymore. I said, what happened to that powder? You changed. She said, I just tasted, I couldn't taste the potency anymore. I'm like, well, that's weird. Well, why do you think that is? She's like, I don't know. They must have changed something about the formula. But I used to be able to taste the fundamentals of it. I used to be able to taste the earth. And I'm like, weird. So we looked it up, and it turned out the company had been bought 3 months ago. And the finance guys came in. They had to pay off their debt, so they started to tinker with it. And it was a shadow of the product that everybody had fallen in love with, and their sales started to go down. But here's somebody who just by tasting it, no, that's not the same stuff. So I said to her, look, I need a shake for this business. We've got fitness, we've got these great advocates, coaches. I need a shake, and I don't want just some $30 shake. People can get that anywhere. And you know me, I don't eat vegetables, so can you give me, I don't need more protein. Protein's not my problem. I need something that helps me with my vegetable problem. And she said, no, I won't do that for you. I'm like, what? I got this thing. You got one. Well, so she said no, because I know what's going to happen. Same thing that happened with the other company. I'm going to formulate this. I'll put all my heart and soul and my love into it and my expertise, all this research, and I'll love it, and I'll want to take it, and it's going to be the best, and then your finance guys are going to destroy it, and it will break my heart. And I said, well, guess what? I run the company. And I would like to be able to still live here at this house. So we started, and she got Darren O'Lean to help, who's this ingredient hunter, and he's aware of adaptogens and these superfoods all over the world, and they compared their lists, and one of the fundamentals was it had to be whole food formulation, meaning by whole food, what I said is, when I said this isolated thing, so, people can get into things like pectin and resveratrol, or these little, sort of technical terms that come from something natural. And they test it, they do clinical trials, and it does something really good for you. But when they isolate it, it doesn't carry all the stuff that nature was doing with it, right? So an apple, pectin is like I think it's something in the skin of an apple that's supposed to help you lose weight. But if you take the rest of the apple away, the body's like, I don't know what this stuff is, but it doesn't have its friends. So I'm not going to do anything. Like your cells haven't evolved to the point that, oh, that's pectin. Let's use that. No, your cells need to recognize energy and the certain energy that is happening in these cells that aren't just sitting there dormant. They're all actions are happening. They're having interactions, and they're carrying oxygen. And so what happens is, by keeping it in whole food form, grinding it up, turning it into a powder, what also happens is you need to preserve that, or you need to tighten the timeline, the shelf life, right? So, like an orange, you can't just ship an orange around and go, well, it has a 1-year shelf life. Well, you got a couple months to sell that orange. Same thing with the bag of Shakeology. Isabel would not let us put a little bit of kerosene in there in order to preserve it. Oh, it's the most amazing shake. This would be so fantastic. A little bit of kerosene never hurt anybody. And so she's like, no, we can't do that, which means that we have to tighten that, which has a whole effect on the cost structure, on the supply chain. But what I can say is, what's in that bag is so proactively managed and supervised that there is nothing like it in the food supply chain other than Shakeology. And when we were in Punta Cana at the Success Club trip, I asked her on stage, I said, well, are you saying that, I was really asking her, are you saying that this is the best shake in the world? Like, what are you saying? And she said, and she doesn't have a salesmanship gene in her body. Like, she would just as soon start drinking another shake if she found one better than Shakeology. That's how much she cares about her health more than anything. And particularly our son's health, my daughter's health, like, she'll just give them the best, right? That's the most important thing. And she said, if I found something better, I would drink it. And I have never found something better. And the reason I can say that is I'm in the trenches. I'm watching what the supply chain looks like. I'm taking care that if because we've grown so much, we are putting pressure on certain suppliers who they want to amp up their crops. Now remember, crops don't happen like, it's not like magic. They have to go through seasons. So as we continue to grow, we put pressure on these crops. And these farmers want to sell us more of that exotic stuff. So all of a sudden they start spraying the stuff so that more of it grows. Then we test it and we say, you're spraying it with stuff. So the more of it grows, you're no longer in the bag. You're like, that didn't work. so then we have to go find it or we replace it. This shake is in constant reinvention and evolution as the business scales and as we find more potent ways and simpler ways to deliver the same effect of adaptogens, which are these amazing things, these mushrooms. Chaga is one of them, and I don't know what they're all called actually, but what they do is like they go in, and these things have to survive at altitude, right? So they are constantly adapting to wild climates, and they go in, and they're not like medicine, but they sort of go in and they're called adaptogens because they adapt to what the body needs to help the body heal itself. Like pretty powerful stuff, right? And it's actually pharmaceutical companies don't love it that much that this stuff is out there, so it's actually much more available and accessible in Europe and in Asia. But there are some adaptogens that we can get over here, and that's good because that lets us continue to make Shakeology. So we have this incredible product that now we have coaches who have to try to represent it, and I could barely just describe it, and I'm the CEO of the company, and now how are you going to describe it? So we put in place a 30-day money-back guarantee so that people can say, not as a gimmick, but so that people can say, look, I don't know what's in this stuff, but I'm sleeping better, I'm not bloated anymore, I used to be irregular, now I feel good, I don't have junk food cravings, my appetite, I don't get hungry for lunch as early in the day or for dinner, like all these, and we're constantly doing clinical trials, which will announce some new results at Summit that are pretty impressive. Constantly looking to test, what does this do? And really what it's doing is, it's this missing link of, in terms of the food supply chain, of what the body's missing from what we used to just take from the earth in a raw form, and the body would digest it, and it would be potent, and it didn't have GMOs and little tricks that we've been playing that have undermined it, and the pollution wasn't in the soil, and the pollution wasn't in the air or the water, and now here's this shake that helps the body detox just a little bit every day. A little bit of a detox, help you keep cleaned up. And so it's this amazing thing that this company created, and now we're scaling. So the question is, as we face competitive pressure, how can I help coaches, how can I help you represent this and understand the importance of what you're doing in a way that like, because it's very difficult to wrap your head around, because you just pay $40 to be a coach, or you buy a challenge pack and you buy a challenge pack and be a coach for free, right? Isn't that the way it works?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm clearly very familiar with it. So you can buy a challenge pack and you can be a coach free. So you're like, well, how can this be all that sophisticated? Well, it's sophisticated that way because we want as many people as possible in this thing. We could have charged more for it, made it a super premium thing, but we want to get as many people as possible. We took the challenge pack of Beachbody On Demand down from $199 to $160, so you're effectively getting, for $30, you're getting a year's worth of 670 programs. Sean Week coming out, we've got Shift Shop coming out, other stuff we'll announce at Summit that you're going to love, and like this incredible value, like the greatest value that helped somebody like Adriana lose this weight. But again, it's just a tool. Adriana's got to be able to go out there and represent it and help people get started with it and get in challenge groups. And I've got to figure out a way to make it so that you feel the courage and you feel empowered to step out of your comfort zone and not feel like you're body shaming or being in any way judgmental of people, to invite them to your challenge groups and get this thing started. Because honestly, I don't understand why, and I don't say this with judgment, I just say I don't understand, based on the problem, why every coach doesn't sign up a new challenger every day. I don't understand it. Because it's the most cost effective. People right now, they go to the gym. They drive 3 or 4 miles, go to the gym and they put their clothes on, and there's the mirrors and the fashion show, and then they go to the little juice bar and they get the juice thing, and it's like $5 or $6. They drink that, and then they go home. So their health was over there, they go home, and they got the snacks and the cookies and the chips and everything up in the pantry, and the kids are watching TV, and so the health is over there, and the junk food is all in here, and I think that's backwards. I think home should be the center of the health.
Yeah.
If we want to take care of our families and ourselves, not just to be like, ooh, I'm taking care of my family and myself, but we want to live longer, and we don't want to be sick, and we want to be able to do stuff together. Like, I don't understand why that story's not making it so that it's not just like, oh, we've got everybody. It happened last weekend. We got 300 million people. Awesome, good job. So, I'm here today to try to find out what is it about the business model that is limiting you, that holds you back, either as a prospective customer. Why wouldn't you buy Shake? Why wouldn't you be drinking Shakeology every day? I drink the stuff every single day. And why wouldn't you make sure that your home has Beachbody On Demand with over 670 programs in it, including stuff for kids and stuff for stretching and yoga and Pilates and just these world famous brands. And why wouldn't you tap into the accountability of a coach that costs you nothing? If you're a coach, why wouldn't you see this opportunity? And by the way, I don't mean to stand here to say that everybody should be a coach. Because, I got off the plane and somebody can drive me over here. I needed a driver. So that person was glad they weren't a coach. Or whatever. Dinner, something, whatever. I want the guy to make me a nice steak. And whoever made the wine, I want them to have done a good job. And I want to do that. I'm glad they're not a coach. It's not going to be for everybody. But for the people you came here. So whether you're a business prospect, customer prospect, or a current coach, I want to know what's holding you back so that I can learn, improve the business, and maybe in some way help you. And so that's where we are. That's why I'm here, and that's a little bit of the background. So now it's up to you to get whatever value out of this that you can for you, to ask questions. The only 2 questions I won't answer, the only 2 types of questions. One is territory. So we just announced that we're going to the UK, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You did that.
Okay.
But that's in the late fall. It doesn't matter yet. Who cares? Literally. That's how I feel about it. Like, people are like, oh my God! I'm like, just settle down. Let's help the people here. Please. So, we're going to the UK, but I don't want to talk about other markets that we're considering, but we are, and that is a part of our expansion plan. And I also don't talk about product development, either supplements or fitness, because we have a lot in development, and there's both for legal reasons and just because of the way we announce stuff. I don't talk about it on stage. So those are the only 2 areas that you won't get me. But if anybody has any questions now, it's your turn. I'm going to actually, the T25 is starting to take effect. So I'm going to sit over here. And hopefully this won't make me much shorter.
Tell Chair.
Is there anybody gutsy who wants to say a question?
Hi. Can everybody hear me? I had someone come up to me and wanted to order Shakeology as a challenge pack, and I sent everything to her, and unfortunately she has peanut allergies.
Oh, yeah.
So she looked and researched, and it said that it was made in a facility where
Yes.
nuts have been.
Yes.
Is it possible that one day they will not be made Shakeology, won't be done in the area like that?
It's a really difficult thing because of the volume that we do. Like literally, you have to put that warning on the bag if somebody has a bag of peanuts on their desk. Like it's crazy, just what that line does for people. So I doubt it. Like I don't know how to not have it in a facility where somebody might, because we source stuff from all over the world, right? So I don't know if a guy was digging with the shovel into the peanut pile, and then he didn't clean the shovel and go over into the maca pile to shovel that, right? Because all this stuff is just in these farms. And since we can't control, because there's like, I think it's 64 ingredients or something in there, like since we can't control it all, we have to put it there. However, my suggestion, I say likely, is if she could just taste it. You know, I don't have her go into anaphylactic shock. That'd be bad for the business. but there are people who, my son's got a terrible peanut allergy, can't get near him, and he drinks Shakeology every other day. He's 9 years old. So again, it's one of those things, like, it's kind of like the peanut allergy thing and the breastfeeding mom and pregnancy. Like, we can't test this on pregnant moms and breastfeeding. Oh, kid didn't make it. Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't run those tests. So,
Terrible.
like, too far?
A little bit.
I told I'm a little obnoxious.
I love it.
But on the other side of the equation, the people, pregnant and breastfeeding moms, will have no problem going through the drive-thru at McDonald's, and I don't know how they make a burger for 59 cents, where that came from, or what that thing was eating to be able to have, or what they were injecting it with. So. Again, what I suggest, and some people have a reaction to Shakeology, and part of that reaction can just be the potency of the product in general, and my suggestion there is that just have a quarter of a scoop, or a half of a scoop, and see if your body can start to process it, because your body's used to this sort of junk is coming in, and I'm dealing with it, and I'm putting a little over there, and some up here, and all of a sudden, you give it this stuff with this fiber, and these adaptogens, and your body's like, okay, get it all out of here. And you're like, what? That was a bad day. And that gets blamed on Shakeology, which is sort of just doing its thing, when really it was the prior diet that was doing its thing. So that's why sometimes it's good for people to just, it's a potent shake. And in fact, one of the reasons that we have boosts is because we took out some of the potency when we first formulated it, because there was too much fiber, and we had, I think, 7 grams of fiber. I think it's down to 3, because it was just like too, like, whoa. And same thing with the greens. The power greens were so potent that it was very difficult to make any flavors that were decent for people. They would have to just create a whole concoction in order to try to mask it and enjoy it. Which is funny, because the original ask that I had was, again, because I don't eat vegetables, I said to the formulators, I said, look, just give me something I can choke it down. I just have to do something. I just will choke it down. And they're like, actually, we think we can make it taste good. So that turned out, because it's not so bad. But your tongue, this is why I can start to eat vegetables now, is because my tongue is starting to get trained that, hey, that's not bad, actually. And I'm not, I eat very little sugar now at all. Certainly no refined sugar, unless it sneaks in that somebody doesn't tell you that it's in a product. And so my tongue is completely different sensitivities. So now, like the other day, I had a piece of broccoli, and I was like, I survived. I'm not nauseous. And I mean, it used to be like, when I was a kid, man, I had this trick. We would have a glass of milk, right? And there would be carrots on the plate. And I had this trick of talking at the thing. And I would have my thing. And I would hold, and I would zip. And with the fork, and the carrots would go in. the milk, right? So I would drink a little milk, so that because the carrots would push the thing to the top. So I would drink a little milk, and then one time I got busted because it had all these little orange rings. So that's how much I hated vegetables. All right, sorry, funny story. So anybody else got a question? That's one more. Nobody? Okay, yes. Oh, sorry. Anybody? Just start talking. Go ahead.
Not really a question.
Yeah.
I get cost objections all the time.
Sure.
And it's such a great value, and I tell them that, and I still get like, I can't afford it.
Yes.
I can't afford it. And I'm like, but you probably went, to wherever and spent money on a tank top and spent money on a bag of chips and spent money on McDonald's.
Yeah, well, it's tough. It's tough to pick somebody's life apart like that. Well, 'cause they didn't do that because they didn't want it, right? Like they wanted to do that stuff, and that's. But so the question has to be about the greater shift. In my group, we call this sharpening the pencil. Okay, so when somebody gives you the cost objection, what you need to do is, the little sharpeners, and you put the thing in, the shavings come out, right? You put it in, is it sharp enough? No. No. You keep twisting. Every question is another twist until you get to the point. See what I did there? And the point, you need to get to the point for her or him, and that is to find out what, okay, so presumably before you got to the it's too expensive, there was some content or exchange that you learned that there was a desire to lose weight or get healthy or something that they're trying to avoid. So, as you're sharpening the pencil, where, and then this is just a question that you have, and this is where you get into some of the intellectual capacity of a coach needs to be able to listen and help. So you're talking to somebody, you're like, okay, we're rooted in this thing that you said of, I want to lose 15 pounds. But I want to do it the healthy way that supports my metabolism. Or you said, you can just stop eating. Or you can do it this healthy way that's going to support your metabolism so that after you lose the 15 pounds, you know how to do proper portions, you've got access to fitness so you keep the weight off, and you're feeding your body in a way that actually helps it process fat and calories in a way that's natural so that your body's working better, right? There's this thing called, I won't go into it, but you want to feed the body so that it is processing fat and calories and getting carbs to the brain and getting fat to where it needs to be, but not so alarmed by the lack of fat in the diet that it has to store it because it doesn't think any more is coming, because it needs that to protect itself. So like all these issues. So as you're talking to somebody about what's important to you, why are we having this conversation? So then, well, that's too expensive. Wait, can we go back to the premise that you wanted to lose 15 pounds the right way? And we're talking about something that is the price of an expensive cup of coffee per day that is carrying no nutritional value, and it's pounding on your adrenal system, which long-term is going to undermine your ability to create energy, certainly throughout the day, and or you're having a drink a day, and that's probably $3 or $4. Like, what is the priority here? Because it doesn't have to be forever. We don't have to talk about forever. But let's talk about right now. And again, then we get to, are you bloated? Do you have enough energy? Like, just try to connect all these questions to the goal. The goal is the most important thing. So you sharpen the pencil to really understand the point of the goal. And once you understand, and if I was a coach, I would spend all my time as a coach, because I'm the boss. Not they're the boss. I'm the boss. Wait a minute, you said you want to lose 15 pounds. Was that accurate or not? Because if that's not accurate, I don't need to waste my time. Mm-hmm. You don't really want to lose 15 pounds? You do want to lose. Because I'm a coach, that will help you lose 15 pounds. Well, that's too expensive. What's too expensive about it? Because I've seen you with your coffee and your drinks and your tank tops. So I thought you said 15 pounds. And I'm going to help you do that by July 4th. But I want to do it the right way. Because all I do, this is Isabel talking. Okay, this is a great story.
Isabel had some fancy, this is my wife, fancy CEO who wanted to get fit. He was going to Italy, and he's like, he hired her as a trainer and nutritionist, and he was flying private plane. This is before I knew her, and they were, and so they got in the plane, and she's all ready for a month in Italy, and she's going to train him and help him. And they get in the plane, and he goes, "Okay, I want to start working out in the plane." And she's like, "What?" Like, it's private plane. So and she's like, that's terrible for you at altitude, recirculating the air. The chemicals that they have in here, you're going to be breathing that in a more intensive way, because they clean it with all these chemicals. And she's like, "No, we're not going to do that." He's like, "Oh, hell, we're not. Like, I'm going to work out in the plane. You are working for me." She goes, "No, we're not going to do that. Stop the plane." Like, literally, she got off the plane. Thousands of dollars, and she got off the plane and said, "No, I'm not going to do it." And she fires more clients than will help her. And that's why sometimes I'll pick up the phone and I'll be like, "Hello?" And I'm like, "Honey, I think James Bond is on the phone." And she's like, "Oh, tell Pierce I'll call him back." Like the weirdest stuff. "I think this is Richard Branson." So, like, these people come to her because they know that she will only represent the right solution for their goal, and in a way that's going to enhance their lives. And that's what I would be as a coach. So somebody wants to lose 15 pounds, fine. Like I said, you can go to YouTube, you can starve yourself, you can do the cayenne pepper thing and all that stuff, and then you're going to put it back, and you can get off that roller coaster with me, because that's what I'm here for. Because eventually, that lady's going to have the money, she's going to be like, she was so right. I wanted to do it in a way that would enhance my life. And if you maintain that position, I think you will attract more people who are like, "I want to work with you because I'm done." The most expensive thing for her is the 1995 Thigh Master she buys that she never uses. Like, she just might as well tear up $20. The best value is the one that works. Yeah. And she might not be eating breakfast every day, $4 or $5 for breakfast. That's a great value that enhances her energy for the whole day and helps her lose the weight. So it's like these questions, dealing with the affordability issue in general, I think that's a smokescreen. If it's, I can't afford to be a coach, by smokescreen I mean they're really just trying to avoid making the commitment. So they say, well, because eventually they could put $130 together and say, "Look, let's take 1 month off, let's save $5 a day. And now you're going to be on a cycle that you're going to be able to buy this shake every month. The first month you're not going to be able to do it because we need to get you started. And unfortunately, you got to buy all 30 shakes at one time. That's the difference with, like, you go to a juice place, you can do it at $5 at a time. But the difference here is, for her or anybody, is you can't go to a juice place 30 days in a row, and the last day you're there and you're like, "Yeah, I'll have the same one I've gotten the last 30 days. It gives it to you, $5. You really like that shake, don't you? Hold on a second. No. It's been 30 days. Can I get all my money back for all those shakes, please? And the guy's going to laugh at you. But with Shakeology, we let people, because we know what can happen over time with this shake. That's why we give people the money back guarantee. So if she doesn't feel like she got the value out of it, she gets the money back. So the question is, does she not have $130 at all? That could be a reality. She could work her way into it as a coach, putting a challenge group together. I know people, Scotty Hobbs is a great story. I don't know if you've heard of him. But this guy was like broke. 4 kids or 5 kids, like real life issues. And he was like rebuilding computers and to try to, and reselling them to make enough money to buy a shake and to build his coaching business. And because he couldn't afford internet, he would drive his car to his friend's house, sit outside, and hijack his Wi-Fi and work his business. Like, that's wanting to get, right? So you can make it happen. So sharpening the pencil is, and part of this, and this is a tough thing, man. I wish I could figure out how to train this, but I don't want to peek too early in this because I could go off right now. But part of it is your enthusiasm for this. you know, a coach, you can look at professional sports. You know, a coach, you're called coaches. A coach doesn't say to the team, go out there if you want to. And score if it feels right for you. Like you say to the team, do you guys want to win? And they say, yeah, we want to win. Like, you really want to do what it takes to win? And they're like, yeah, we want to do what it takes to win. Are you okay if I push you hard to win? Yes, push us hard, coach. And the coach pushes them. Part of us being coaches is we got to push people into the thing that they want. Now, if the team's just like, well, we really don't want to win that bad, well, then you're on your own. But for the people who, they want to lose 15 pounds, or they want to lose 40 pounds, a great coach will help them go, okay, let's do this. And I'm going to be side by side with you. I'm not going to count your reps. I'm not going to body shame you, but I'm going to be side by side with you to lift you up when it's difficult, to explain it when you don't understand what's happening to your body, or why cortisol is kicking in, and you feel like you're gaining weight the first week, or what's happening. I'm going to help you access the fitness and nutrition experts on the message boards at Beachbody. We're going to get you answers, but I'm going to be there with you to do it. That's what you do. And part of the whole thing, to get people into your challenge groups, to get challengers, you're going to rise up to that level of energy, enthusiasm, and passion about what we do. And one of the things that I know is in this room is this feeling of, I don't know if I'm really up to that. How can I say I'm a coach? I haven't lost all the weight. I don't have a six-pack. How can I represent myself as a coach? Let me use the metaphor. So, you're walking down the street. You know, you might have heard this before. Walking down the street, and you look up, it's on the curb. That house is beautiful, but there's smoke coming off the roof. And there's a lady on the porch of that house, and that house is on fire. You don't sit there and go, I really don't know if I'm good enough to get her up. I'm not comfortable in house shaming her for having a flaming house that could kill her. I might get embarrassed, and she might yell at me for trying to get her off her porch. No, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Now, that's an acute problem. We're talking about something that's sort of a more slow-moving matrix kind of bullet that you dodge. So it's easier for people to blow it off. But if your passion and enthusiasm is acute, and you say, get off the porch, lady, I'm starting a challenge group. We're doing June 9th, we're starting a 3-day refresh. You could lose 3 to 5 pounds in 3 days. And then we're going into this thing, Sean week. It's going to be really hard, but it's 1 week, and we're going to go for it and see how it feels. And you could lose another 5 pounds that week. Like, you could have 10 pounds off before July 4th. But I need you to get in this. We're better together. And by the way, everything that you buy in doing this, you have a money-back guarantee. But Sharon, you said you wanted to lose 15 pounds. You've got to do this. I'm done with your I can't afford it thing because I'm just tired of hearing you whine about it. This needs to be part of the coaches saying, let's get off our ass and let's do this. Yes?
2 questions. First one, is the weight loss sustainable? And in the sense of if you were to go off the Shakeology, would you gain the weight back? And I guess my second, that's my other question, really.
Okay, it's a great question. Shakeology is not a weight loss supplement.
Okay.
So, you know, in general, subject to hormone shifts, Shakeology is not going to have that effect on you. What is going to get you in trouble is a dramatic, or whatever, any imbalance between calories in and calories out, in general. Now, there are certain macros, fats, carbs, what are the other ones? Proteins. Like, the balance of the carbs need to be appropriate, or not the carbs, the macros need to be appropriate to the way the body processes and uses this energy, and how it stores it. So you need to be getting enough. Very often people will find that they're stuck in losing weight, and our fitness and nutrition experts will say, eat more. They'll add 400 calories a day, and all of a sudden their weight goes down. Like, what? How did that happen? It's called, in some cases, it's called a reload. But, so the point is, from a sustainability standpoint, it's really about, and this is one of the things that's great about Portion Fix, which is these little containers, is people start to get a feel for what's the right portion for them. And like, I'm always shocked when I go back to the containers. I'm like, man, I've been eating like 5 times as much breakfast cereal as I'm supposed to. Like, I fill the bowl, and it looks good in there with the milk and everything, or the almond milk, and then I realized, oh, it's supposed to be a little bit smaller. And in fact, when I was on my way, I was flying here, and immigration was coming from South Carolina, and so they were checking all my bags and everything, and the guy's like, that 21-day fix, that don't work. I swear, I said, why is that? What are you talking about? Like, he brought it up, I didn't even bring it up. I told him about Beachbody and stuff, and he was like, oh yeah, that 21-day fix, that don't work. And I'm like, why is that? He goes, because last night I had some cod, it was big, and I had to eat the whole thing. And I said, I bet you, if when the cod got there, you would cut it in half, and sent half back to have the rest tomorrow, you would have had just as great an experience enjoying that food, and you would have felt good afterwards too. And that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about educating the mind and the sensory, the senses around what's appropriate to eat, so that you have a mindset about what to eat, and that the daily activity of burning off an additional 200 to 600 to 700 calories with activity allows you to have some flexibility with up and downs, whether you want to have a glass of wine or a dessert or whatever, all within reason. You get a little bit more freedom because of the little extra calorie burn, and you're building muscle, so your metabolism grows, so your ability to eat more food grows with it. So the answer is absolutely sustainable, depending on how you lost it, though. Dramatic weight loss tends to put the body in what they call starvation mode, and after about 14 days to 21 days, the body's like this, and like it thinks that there's a famine, and now it's going to hold on to everything, and until you signal it that there's enough food out there, because this is our biology, until you signal it again that there's enough food out there, it's going to start to store stuff, because it doesn't know if there's a famine out there or not. And that's why you have to eat. This concept of intermittent fasting, I'm not a fan at all. Like I just don't think it's a proper way to treat the body. The body is meant to eat at regular intervals, and it can help you accelerate things, and sometimes, but there's this consequence that happens, and you got to rebuild the metabolism. That's when it's not sustainable. When you undermine the metabolism to lose the weight, which is what's so dangerous about the keto stuff. Yes.
When I look at the back of the package, and I drink Shakeology, I just dove in, I hated it. Absolutely, I check it every single day. And when I look at it now, I'm a coach, and I'm trying to help people go from that chugging, and then looking at the back of the package, that it's like Greek almost. Like there's just so much information there, and I can't find enough information about the ingredients online to make myself empowered enough to tell them, yes, this is what this mushroom is going to do this for you.
Yes.
And in Canada, we have the little nutritional square that was on the package, and now it's not anymore. And it kind of plays with the ingredients and how it's shown. It shows all the good medicinal, and then it has all the additional additives. And I would like to know, like, where do those additional additives come in to the proportion of the shake?
Well, it's definitely listed in terms of most to least, okay? And in some cases, there's an alchemy. In terms of, I'm going to be helping you, but it's not necessarily going to be something that's easy to articulate, okay? The alchemy of this shake is that Darren and Isabel put together is that these certain functions in terms of the vital organs, a process of, I always do them in the wrong order, but it's like kidneys, spleen, all whatever these things are. And each one of these things, sometimes in very trace amounts, is just enough in the bloodstream to help the spleen process or create blood, or help the kidney filter blood. And so literally, they manage the ingredients of that shake with like this finesse of an orchestra. that they want to hear the viola and they want to hear the cello, and it's got to be in the right proportion. And they're constantly tasting it, and they're constantly testing it, but literally tasting it, and then doing a clinical trial. Whenever there's a new formulation, they'll redo the clinical, see if it still has the effect on digestion, cholesterol, bloating, and so on. So, I can't, there's no simple way for me to categorize these things, otherwise we would do it. So, I can't speak.
It's such a mystery, because it's
Yeah.
like I tell the people, this is what you need. And then it's like,
Yeah.
but I can't tell you exactly what it is.
Well, you know what? I get it. I totally get it. And let me tell you something. You could, we say consult your doctor and all that stuff. Nobody knows. We are still learning stuff that we were sure was bad for you, or stuff we were sure was good for you. We're still finding new stuff out. And we all take for granted that science knows it all, and science is constantly evolving with how this stuff interacts. What we do know is what are the results that people are getting. And we can't, we see, I've had people send me emails, my wife and I couldn't conceive for 10 years, and then we drank Shakeology for a month, and now we're having triplets. or fibromyalgia, or people who had, colitis, or just real ringing in their ears, and all these things that we're not a drug company, we don't know what's going on. All we know is that, in general, we're not feeding the body in a way that is holistic, or taking into account the deep needs nutritionally that we used to just get from the earth. And so we take this easy route that says, try it for 2 weeks, try it for a month. You get your money back if it has no effect on you. But if there's anything ailing you, this shake is substantial enough that you will probably feel it. And if you don't, you get your money back. But we can't explain. I'll tell you a funny story. There was a guy, we were interviewing a guy that had our R&D department at one point, and I wanted Isabel to always meet him because she has the way to just get a guy and just you can tell if he's the real deal or not in terms of understanding nutrition. And that guy, so we're at lunch, and the guy orders a salad and vegetable salad, and she gets her thing, and I get a burger. And the guys, they're talking about Shakeology, and he's talking about how, I don't believe that stuff. These adaptogens, there's no proof that these herbs are actually doing anything, and these phytonutrients and that prebiotics are what lead to probiotics. It's very sketchy, and I actually think that sometimes plants can be the enemy, and they're protecting themselves, and so until there's proof, I would never put it in. Until there's Western proof, I would never put it in a formulation, even though perhaps a culture has been eating something or drinking something for thousands of years, like they have in the East or in the Mayan tribes and so on. So Isabel's listening to him, taking this in, and obviously I'm like, well, we're not going to hire this guy. And she looks at his food, and she's like, so what made you order that spinach salad? He's like, well, I like to eat healthy. And she's like, well, how do you know that's healthy? And he's like, well, everybody knows that spinach is healthy. And she's like, really? Did you know that spinach, of all the leafy vegetables, has some of the highest lead content of all the vegetables? He's like, I think I heard that once. And you just see the guy who was like, how fast can I get away from this lunch right now? My point is that science doesn't know. What we know is how we feel. And when there are issues that we've got that are nagging us, that more antibiotics or another drug or another pill that is not solving the problem but is band-aiding the problem, and then all of a sudden the shake comes along and somebody's cholesterol drops 30 points. And if that's the only thing that changed, I might be inclined personally to want to draw that conclusion. I can't make that claim for that person because we're not a drug company. So all I know is these two people, Darren Oline and Isabel Daikeler, who care more about their own health than anybody that I know. I mean, Darren gets up at like 3 a.m. to work out. Like they're so vigilant about it that if they drink it, I drink it. And I can't expect everybody to be that way, but all I do know is 400,000 people right now drink it every single day. And that's a pretty outrageous thing for a $130 bag of powder that looks the same as the $30 bag of powder. Yes.
I have just a question about coaching. I'm a customer, and I'm known to talk to my bartender about what she does to work out, and I leave comment and come back and check in on that. I guess my question is, in terms of coaching, to have a reasonable level of engagement and success. I'm not driven by money. My question is, like, what is the investment of time to really, I guess, see results and be authentic in the engagement?
I think part of it depends on your audience, on who you would bring in, but think of it like a workout group at the gym. That you're going to do your workout anyway, and you might have, let's say, 5 people that might do it too, and you have this challenge tracker app on your phone, and you can see what those people do. Now, I'm assuming that the bartender decided to do it. Now, the getting the bartender there, that can take up a lot of the time. But if they see your arms looking good, they're like, what do you do? And they want to get involved, then I've seen it where coaches, particularly if they're not salesy, because the people let their guard down, and they're like, I'd like to have that. Okay, I'd like to work out at home. So it's up to the person now to step up for themselves, do the workouts, and you just check them. And you check in with them once a week, and you go, your goal was to lose 2 pounds this week. How'd you do? How was your diet? Did you drink your shake? And you can see the stats on your phone. And they'll say, I did good, I did bad. And you say, well, how can we fix that? And that's it. And the group actually also provides support within the group. So like the group takes some of the pressure off you, the bigger the group. If it's within reason, let's say 25 people is about the size that I would contain things to, where those people start to support each other, and you're there just to sort of herd them along. And that can end up paying for your product, but also giving you a certain amount of satisfaction. In fact, that's, again, one of the things that this whole business evolved out of was we had these message boards. Tracy Morrow is a great example, one of our founding coaches. She was on the message boards probably 2 hours a day, helping people. She loved it. She loved it, helping answer their questions and get the most out of Power 90 or P90X. And I was like, Tracy, you got to be a coach. And she's like, MLM? Gross. I don't have anything to do with that. And I'm like, but you're doing it already. You're doing what I want you to do, and that is just help people, support them so that they get the results. And I said, just give it a year. Do it for me. She was a hairdresser, thinking about becoming a personal trainer. I'm like, I don't get that at all. You have these great results with Power 90, and now you're going to become a personal trainer? Like, how does that reconcile? And you can't be making that much money cutting hair for $15 a person that comes in. So come on, let's try this and see if it works for you. And she loves it now. Like, she's a multi-millionaire, but she still does the same thing. She just supports people in these little groups. And my guess would be that somebody who is not money driven,
I mean, I like money.
No, I would say that probably, to be real about it, you're a half hour a day is what I would say if you're serious about it, to help a group of 5 to 10 people. That's what I would say. Okay, well, a lot of answers. All right, I saw her next to the lady that just asked.
Kind of to come back to the whole ingredient list and
Yeah.
Shakeology, because I have a lot of people who have noticed when you go through my thing and they ask what did you do and what are you eating and drinking and stuff. So I was like, Shakeology, and then I can tell them about it and they're like, oh, what's in it, and kind of read it and coming back and thinking about becoming a coach. But my personal thing is, I don't really know if I have the whole knowledge, and I know that the big thing is like you don't have to be the expert.
Yeah.
So I just, for me, is there like places that reference me, because I had a previous coach who I like approached, like, what's in the shake? And literally like didn't get an answer.
Yeah.
So for me, I just think like, I just find it strange how like on the website, you know, there's not really like a huge like, as you said, you put the things in the shakes for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like hard to explain to someone.
Legally, like, it's like such a legal mess. It's but, you know, just claims, like you can't claim stuff. And so it's one of those things that literally has to be a person having an experience with it and then advocating that experience to other people who have an issue that they want to deal with. Because, like, we have this fight all the time because Isabel, who spends hours in front of the computer, and Darren, like, they are so versed and so aggressive about wanting to understand why something can go in there. But in Western society, in the pharmaceutical culture, you can't say something about something unless you've got a $5 million double-blind clinical study. And so it's one of those things that we said, all right, do we just do the things that we can say, or do we do the things that we know will work, we know they're safe, and constantly be on top of it so that we're providing people a potent daily dose of dense nutrition that is truly going to feed them and they'll just feel it. And it doesn't make the sales process easier, but it's the way the product has to be if we wanted to have this substance. And it's one of the biggest challenges as I'm doing these groups, and as I've got my big I'm Here to Help group online, is I can't answer it any more specifically than that, because I cannot say that this ingredient solves this problem. Like, I just can't say it. And part of the reason that I can't say it is because they're not synthetic. I can't control the potency from one crop to the next. You ever see two oranges come off of a different tree? You're like, how's that possible that those two things are 20 yards from each other in the same season, and they're different colors and different shapes and different sizes? And it's the same thing with the ingredients inside Shakeology. That, you know, sometimes you get different potency of crops, and like they all get mixed together, but you don't know what that specific potency is to be able to make a claim against a certain potency, because each crop is different. So it's like, it's really about what's in the bag and what's on the bag is nature, a loving approach to nature produced by two people who are so vigilant about the quality and potency of it that I would suggest you try it for 30 days and see how you feel. That's really what I can say. Not the best. Yes. And then
There's one right here.
Hi, I'm just, my name's Liz, hi. I'm just trying to figure out, I've gone through the metamorphosis myself. I've lost, 35 pounds. People who know me have been watching my transformation, and they've contacted me, I've contacted them, and the ones that I know are a non-issue. They want to jump on board because they know me, and I'm trying to figure out how to deal with the people that I don't know to try to help them, particularly the skeptics that initially they go, wow, you're doing amazing, I love your transformation, how do I do that? And you say, oh, I'm this coach, I'm with Beachbody, I have this, I have that, I have all these resources, and they go, nah, not for me.
Yeah.
And it's mostly because either I do a lot of explanation, I do a lot of teaching, and somehow it's not getting through, and I don't know how to bridge the gap between the skepticism and the knowledge.
Well, I would go back to this sort of sharpening the pencil thing. If you, it's really about what their goal is and what's failed them in the past. Are you talking about recruiting coaches necessarily, or you're talking about customers?
Customers initially.
Okay, so like, the one thing that we know works is fitness and proper portions. Always, that's just math, turns into weight loss every time. The question is, where are you getting that information? How's it organized? Will it help you? Is it functional? And is the fitness put together in a way that is safe and maximizing calorie burn and maximizing the buildup of metabolism. So you have experience with that. So when you're talking to somebody who, if they say they want to lose 20 pounds, and then you go into explanation mode, I'm not sure, I'd have to be there with you to understand what happened to I want to lose 20 pounds. How do they think 20 pounds gets lost? Because the question is, calories in and calories out. We're going to burn 200 more, 300 more calories a day than we consume. That's going to result in at least a pound, maybe 2 pounds a week in weight loss reliably. If you got more weight to lose, it'll come off faster. You're going to drink more water, and that's going to have this outcome. And let's try it for a week with a clean eating trial, like you do a sneak peek type of thing, or let's go for 30 days. If you don't get the results with a 21-day fix or 21-day fix extreme, then you're going to get your money back. Particularly on weight loss, Shakeology is the difficult one. On the weight loss challenge, that should be a layup, because they're not losing the weight because they're not going to the gym because it's not convenient, or they don't feel like they have control of food. And one of the easiest ways that we've seen for people to get literally, for the first time in their lives, control of food is these little containers. Because they just go, oh, that's how much. They eat it, and then now they understand what salad should look like. So I would, how do they spin off? Where do they go? You want them to lose 20 pounds? What am I not saying that's not making sense? Because you're not proposing something that's magic. From a weight loss perspective, Shakeology and its health benefits, that's a little bit more difficult to explain. But when we're talking about T25 or Turbo Fire or PIO or whatever, that's just fitness and nutrition. That works.
All right, so we've got one more question here, and then a couple more questions, and then we'll close up. So,
does anybody want to do a photo? If you don't want to do photos, then we can keep asking questions.
They want to do photos.
You do.
So I just want to say on
And there was a lady over here that
just the previous comments about what's in it, and even with synthetic drugs and all that, they have a 10% either way if they're going to work or not, or if it's the same potency. So I'm just wondering, could you bring that up with a potential customer or coach? Could you say, well, I know synthetic drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, they can go up and down either way as well. Would that be a legal issue, or you could just...
Oh, I don't want to mess with those people ever, man. They're angry.
Because I've worked in pharmacies and stuff, and
yeah.
We have to tell people that because they're like, oh, yes. My pain patch won't work this time. I'm like, well, it goes up and down. Is that the same with your shakes?
Well, sure. I mean, there's a continuum that or range that you need to fit within, and every batch gets tested to make sure it's inside the. So there's the label on the bag, and then there's tolerances, right? And actually, there's always a fight between our R&D department and Isabel and Darren about wanting to minimize the tolerances, and sometimes you can minimize the tolerances by enhancing, by adding synthetics, because you can then nail it, versus not wanting it. And the naturalists are like, well, you're just putting rocks in. So you're getting the numbers, but it's just rocks. It's really not doing anything because it's synthetic. So our general opinion on Shakeology is that we want it to be, there's enough sources of enough stuff that what we're finding is when we test the batches through multiple parts of the process, from the source to when it arrives, to when it gets mixed, to when the batch, just before it gets bagged, and to see where the potency is of the various things that they test, and also the things that they test for, like heavy metals, and it always has to be within the tolerances, or they reject the batch.
Also to add to that, could you, on a one-on-one conversation with somebody, pick out, let's say, 2 ingredients and say, I know what they can do for a person, I know what they can do for a body. Could you break that down to them rather than going on your Facebook page and saying it?
Yeah.
Is that different to say it one-on-one?
This is real nuanced stuff. Look, you know, if I looked on Wikipedia about what adaptogens do in general, and there was a list of these various mushrooms, I would talk to people about them and say this is what they do, and that is a part of this shake. I don't know how much of these adaptogens are in there, but I know it's important to the formulators that they're in there, and what they do is they go in and help the body heal itself and so on. Picking out too would be dangerous because, again, like I said, if we find that the farmer is adulterating the crop to try to get it so that he can get more productivity out, then we're going to take that adaptogen out. And we've done that in a couple of cases. There's been, I can't remember if it was Sasha Itchy or one of them that we had in there. It was like, that it came in, it was like, this is like, there's nothing to this. There's no potency here. So we just had to take it off the bag, and we had made a big deal. Was it ashwagandha? I can't remember what it was, but it was like this great superfood, and it was like, came back, it was like empty. Isabel was tasting it, she's like, there's nothing, it's like I'm eating paper. And so, so we just had to take it out. We had made a big story about it, and that's why we don't produce videos now that marry us to the ingredients as much as the philosophy around the whole thing, because we're constantly tweaking the formulation to be what gives you the potency in that little scoop, so that it is always as valuable, if not more valuable. Like the evolution that just happened with matcha green tea and chaga was a big step up, and I think they took agave out and put in natural cane sugar, which was scandalous. Natural cane sugar, but sugars are plant too. As long as it's not refined by chemicals, it actually has some incredible antioxidant benefits to it. And the agave that was coming in, which has this great story, was all adulterated and was toxic. And we were like, we can't use that anymore, but we lose the sexy agave story. So it's like, it's crazy. It's a wild world, man. Like the more I learn, the more frightened I am to eat stuff. I'm like, okay, it says natural, but you just don't know. Okay, were you next?
Sorry, I have a microphone.
Go ahead.
So, I have a question, because in order to have this actually work, you have to do Shakeology, workout, nutrition, and water. So why does our app only, like the challenge app, only focus on 2 out of 4 things people actually need to focus on to get any results or difference?
That's going to change. The Challenge Tracker app, when we did the clinical trial for Shakeology, the lab or the testing facility had this app that they used to track that people took the shake. And that's all the app was. And we bought that app from them, and we did the workout. And now that we launched Beachbody On Demand, I've got like all these technology guys, and they're working on an update to the Challenge Tracker app, which will include things like the containers and food tracking. Technologies like money.
You're trying to explain to someone how to do it, and they get overwhelmed by all the different places they have to look.
It's going to be, it's all being, we just did a massive technology reorganization with some of the best guys, like guys who built Pandora and guys who built MyFitnessPal, like these guys are on it. So it takes a little while to do these things, to do it right, and then to capture that data, and then we have to be able to scrub that data to keep it private, blah, blah, blah. So, but anyway, that's an important thing, for sure.
And it's not just going to be available for iPhone, right?
No, in fact, well, BOD will be on Android. I think the app launches in maybe 2 months or a month and a half or something, so that's happening.
There's your edge.
Okay. My question is how do you answer people who have hesitations about gaining weight? People are looking to gain weight and not lose it.
Yeah.
And also seniors that have medical issues, bad knees, bad back, but they've been told they have to get in shape.
Yeah.
But when you show them the programs, they're like, oh shit, I can't do this, right? And they're extremely intimidated by it, and then getting them to commit to it, they're just so overwhelmed and intimidated.
Okay, so gaining weight, easy one. In Body Beast, in P98, like in 21 Day Fix, like literally, I believe, you know what? It's in there. Like the information's in there in the calorie calculator. We've helped people with major eating disorders get their act together, and our fitness and nutrition experts, the message boards that are available on Beachbody On Demand, like those are real nutritionists, those are real experts.
What about if they don't have any equipment? They don't have any weights or anything like that?
Well, they can get the bands. But so are we talking about the seniors now?
Well, no, like for someone who's looking to gain weight and you approach them and you're like, there's all these weight
We got to do something.
programs and stuff.
You got to do something to. You got to have some resistance. So now insanity and insanity is, if they wanted to do that, that's one way to go.
Body weight.
I think T25 you have to use. But anyway, you need resistance. If you want to build muscle, you have to feed it and you have to work it so that it's challenged. Now, on the seniors, Tai Chi, man, is like the thing. I had that. I created that, or we hired Mark to create that because my dad had a hip replacement, and I realized I got nothing for my dad. And I remember he was turning 80. He lives in Philly, and he had really good results. Was super happy, and for my dad to finish a fitness program was a big deal. And I went to we had a surprise party for his 80th birthday, and I flew in, and he pulled me aside at one point. I was like, I have to tell you something. I'm like, what? He goes, Tai Chi saved my life today. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, he had these scissors. He was trimming ivy in the back of the house. And he said, as he was trimming the ivy, and this happens to seniors all the time, he's trimming it, and then he moved, he went to pivot, and he caught his foot. And he started to fall, and the scissors were pointed at his chest. And he said, I got my foot out in front of me to stop. And he said, if I hadn't done that program, and I was on his bad hip, he's like, I would have fallen right on those scissors. I was like, all right, we'll make it 81. All right, how are we doing on time?
I think we're good.
Well, one more. Can
we have
gotta
one more? Last one? Okay.
Are you?
He's now 85, I think. Yeah.
I am wondering if there are any plans in the future to fix iWatch.
Yeah.
And the app, like that is total crap.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
real
I'm just
drag.
gonna be honest, like,
No,
it
it's a
doesn't
real
track
drag.
anything, it
Yes.
doesn't whatever.
It's an Apple problem, and the last thing I want to do is make an enemy with those guys. But they came at us. They were very impressed with working with this thing called Wahoo, the Wahoo ticker that goes on, and they were very impressed at how we were able to get the body statistics up on the screen. So Apple said, hey, we'd love to showcase you guys and talk to you about in our keynote thing, which is like where you get famous. So we want you to integrate with the watch. And we said, okay. So we put a team on it, and they did it. And the watch just doesn't pick up. It just doesn't pick up we can't do anything about it. It's not my watch. It's the watch doesn't pick up the heart rate. So you're moving around, and all of a sudden your heart rate goes to 0. And you're like, well, what's the deal? It's got nothing to do with Bob. It's everything to do with the watch. So we've been slowly back away. Thank you. That was awesome. So, wearables is a real drag, and in fact, as we've made improvements and de-emphasized the watch, the ratings of Beachbody On Demand have gone up over 4 stars. But when all the watch people came in, it was like 2-star ratings because the watch sucked. So, that's a whole thing. I don't know, all this stuff, I like it. Okay, last one. This is the last one.
Okay, I have a bunch of coaches, or I'm going to call them coaches, potential coaches, who their questions are, what would you tell them with the fear of failure? They have fear of failure, that's why they aren't jumping in.
Okay. Well, first thing I would say, fear of failure is that's going to obstruct them. The fear of failure will obstruct you in everything you do as long as you let it. It's the snake in the room, and it will always be there. And the second you have any success, Now that's the new floor, and you don't want to risk losing that floor and going back down. So there's this constant fear of failure. So what's the opposite of the fear of failure? The opposite of that is, let me take as little risk as possible and do nothing. And that is a guarantee of failure. So do you choose the guarantee of failure? And everybody going, why don't you ever do anything with your life? And it's like, well, I don't want to fail. Well, congratulations. You succeeded at failing. And so the opposite is, do something, take some risk, and play it all out in your head. Is, what? So what? Like, so what if you fail? Like, all you're doing, probably the fear that gets in a lot of people's way is rejection or criticism. That, ooh, hey, why are you trying to sell me that thing? If your intent and your heart is rooted in, I want to help this person, you're bulletproof. You cannot fail if, when I have a conversation with you, it's hey, I'm starting this challenge group. I think people are going to get great results. We'd love to have you be a part of it. Yes, I will make a commission if you buy in, but it's the best value in health and fitness, and I think you'd have a great experience with it, so why don't you join us? And a person's like, hey, what the hell? Why are you trying to sell me? That's just rude. Like, so no, it really wasn't rude. I really was caring about you. If you've got your own stuff of people trying to help you, that triggers some wound in you, I totally get it, and I'll back off. But I am here, willing to help you for free, get results with these products if you'd like to step up and take care of yourself. So, if a person leads with that intent, their fear factor should go way down. This is one of the reasons that I advocate. There's this thing that we created in our group called 5 Donuts. Is anybody familiar with 5 Donuts?
Yes.
Okay. So the 5 Donuts, if you've ever seen, it's not what you think, you don't get to have 5 donuts. But if you've ever seen a professional baseball player, any baseball player, they don't like walk out of the dugout and there's a pitcher and they're like, okay, start throwing 100-mile fastballs at me. No, what they do is they stand over here in the on-deck circle and they put this heavy sort of lead weight, steel weight on the bat called the donut. And then they swing that thing around and they loosen up. And they're like, oh, this bat is hard to move and hard to stop. So it's hard to start it, it's hard to stop it. But, oof, okay. And then they bang it off and it falls down. And then they go and they say, and the guy throws a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and they're like, whew, oh, the bat was really easy to move. Now, what a 5 donut is in this business, 5 donut swings, is basically, second you wake up, you send out 5 invites. Let's say you did a post that you worked out, you drank your shake on Facebook, and 5 people liked it. Next morning, or they are now prospects, okay? And you say, so the morning you wake up, very late, you say, hey, I'm starting a challenge group on June 9th. We're going to do 3-day refresh, and then we're going to do Sean Week, or we're going to start Shift Shop on July 17th when it comes out on July 13th. So you'll all be ready. It'll be each by other man. It's going to be great. I'd like you to be a part of that. Boom, you send out 5 of those. Now you just got the fear out of you. You just shook it off on deck. Hey, I'm still alive. I sent out 5 invitations, and one guy said, don't be a jerk, I'm going to block you now from my Facebook. And somebody else said, hey, thank you, I'm not interested right now. Somebody else maybe said, that sounds expensive, I don't know. And somebody else might say, tell me more about it. You don't know. But whatever, they were throwaway. 5 donuts. You dealt with the fear of reaching out and inviting people, and now, the rest of the day, because you got that done the first thing in the morning, the rest of the day, you're loose. And you're like, I'm just talking about helping people. All I'm doing is helping people. I'm inviting them to my challenge groups, and then I'm supporting them in those groups. And that's how you sort of work out the fear, by taking those donut swings. And then Charlie goes. Okay, well, just to close, I want to just say, first off, thanks for coming out. I know you don't have to come out to hear some business CEO speak, and I'm truly grateful. But more than that, I'm really just outrageously impressed with what's happening here in Calgary, what's happening in Canada in general, the growth up here, the way you've treated this over the last 3 years has been just phenomenal, and I don't have this business. This business doesn't scale without people like you who show up to things like these and listen and have some belief in what I'm saying. Because I could just be some scam artist up here telling you what you want to hear. But you do it, and you do the workouts, and you represent, you show that you can lose the weight, and you do it with courage, and you do it with kindness and empathy, and I think that's what's going to be a real change in the world. And that's why I think this can be the multiples of hundreds of millions of people and hundreds of billions of dollars. And I hope you all just get incredibly wealthy the more people you help. I hope that you're just riches beyond your ever expectations, but it's going to happen the right way.
Yes.
Because you're going to help people, and we're going to solve these problems, and people are going to get more out of life, which is going to turn out to be even more important than the riches that you're going to have, because everybody around you is going to be grateful and happy and treating each other better and treating the earth better because they're treating themselves better. And that's because of you. Nobody knows about Shakeology, nobody trusts Shakeology or drinks Shakeology without you. Nobody starts a program and finishes a program and sees it all the way through with enthusiasm without you. So you should be proud of what you do, you should have incredible faith in what you do, and you should also feel compelled to have permission to do what you do every single day. You're doing amazing, miraculous work. This is like a big deal. Even though it costs this little, it is a big deal. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for coming out tonight.